Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're well. I did a post yesterday all about with awareness comes choice, and I think it's a phrase that I've used for many years now, and it's because um, we I've recognised with people that I've worked with over the years that we're often just so unaware of the choices that we have available to us. Um, so I just wanted to come on today and have a speak about or chat about that whole concept of raising our awareness so that we can be much more aware of the choices that we have available to us. So often we restrict ourselves in the belief that we can't or we have to, um, and it's just kind of recognizing how often we say that to ourselves. If you did a tally for just a 24-hour period, I wonder how many times you would cross off that you said I can't or I have to, because I can pretty much guarantee the vast majority of them are beliefs rather than facts. I have to go to work. Do we actually have to go to work? Would we be, murdered if we didn't go to work? I understand there's consequences. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, that there's not going to be any consequences if you choose not to go to work, but it is actually a choice. Um, and often it doesn't feel like a choice because, we know that if we don't go to work, then we're not going to get paid and, we might lose our home. So it doesn't feel like a choice. But actually, it's really getting into that space of I am choosing to go to work so that I can get paid and I can keep my lovely home. Because the more we are sitting in that energy of I choose, um, the more we feel a bit more in control of it because you can choose not to go to work. And I'm using that one example, but it's recognizing how kind of intrinsic it is in our lives almost, that whole concept of I have to or I can't. Um, and again, I get it that it can feel like semantics when I'm saying notice the difference between I have to or I choose. I'm still, we're kind of telling ourselves, I've still got to go to work though, haven't I? But the more you're able to make the active choice, and that's where it comes from, it's recognizing the active choice rather than kind of passive resignation, passive, um, and it is kind of in the subconscious. We're not actively choosing whatever it is that we're talking about. Very strange example, but I don't know whether you can see. I've had, where is it? There it is, a lovely little mountains painted on my nails today. In 4 weeks' time, I'm going to be climbing Snowdon. Now, I signed up to do this probably 2 months ago now, maybe, possibly a bit less than that. And at the time, I was given a 6-week training program schedule. I haven't really done much of it. And in one part of my head, I'm kind of going, well, I have to continue to do Snowdon because I'm raising funds for Macmillan, which is a charity that's really important to me. So I'm kind of telling myself I have to. The reality is I don't have to at all. I can choose not to completely, but I am choosing to continue to go ahead with doing the climb, because it's important to me, because the outcome is important to me, because raising funds for the charity is important to me. So I've had my nails done in in to sort of help to keep me focused, to keep me motivated, so that I can do the training I need, so that when I do climb Snowdon, I'm not destroyed. I'm not kind of, completely wiped out from it. I survive it. And obviously that's really important. Um, but it's really noticing the energy in your own body when you tell yourself you have to do something. If I just sat in the I have to, and it's funny because I did do this 2 years ago, and I probably had a very similar conversation 2 years ago, all about I was doing the Great North Run. I really didn't want to do it. There'd been some personal stuff go on, a relationship had ended. I really didn't enjoy running anymore. Um, but again, I was doing it for charity. I was raising money for Anthony Nolan Cancer Trust, um, and I really didn't want to do it, but I kept telling myself I had to. So when I was doing the training runs, I have to, I've got to. It didn't motivate me. It kind of felt like I was backed into a corner and I had no choice. And um, but I did have this kind of chat with myself then 2 years ago and say, well, don't do it then. Don't do the run. Yes, people will. You'll feel you're letting people down, and people might be disappointed, but you don't have to do it. And it really helped me to shift out of the resentfulness, the resentment even, of I have to do it. And this is what I would really love for people to um, embrace, is acknowledging the choice that you have available to you. I'm not saying that you're going to make a different choice because you have awareness of the choice. I'm still going to go and climb Snowdon in 4 weeks unless something, disastrous happens. I'm still going to go and do it, but I can spend the next 4 weeks feeling resentful about it, feeling, stuck in that energy of I have to, I've got no choice, it's not fair, and I don't want to. Or I am choosing to do this because actually I set this up originally as a challenge for myself, to challenge myself physically. I deliberately chose to raise money for Macmillan because I knew that that would motivate me. That would, if you like, stop me backing out almost. So that's the choice I get to be in, is I get to choose, do I want to sit in the sort of unhelpful, negative, resentful energy of I have to, or do I choose to be in that empowering, in control energy of I am choosing this. I can choose not to do it at any point, and really being aware of that concept, you know. I can choose not to do this at any point. There will be a consequence to that, or I can actively choose to continue to do this. The more I'm in that energy, and therefore as people, the more you're in that energy of I'm choosing this, the more empowered you're going to feel, the more in control of your life you're going to feel, because it's not that have to. I hope that that's helped you. I hope that that's given you just something to think about. Notice when you hear yourself say I have to or I can't, then I would love for you to just go, is that true? Do I have to? Because I have to. There is, I can't think of anything on this earth that we have to do, full stop. I can't think of anything. And it might be, well, I have to breathe. Well, no, because if you choose not to breathe, then it's not really a choice, not an active choice, that. But if you choose not to breathe, you die. So there is a consequence. So there is kind of, I suppose breathing is probably one of those things that, we don't really choose. It's in us, it's kind of inbuilt almost. But there's not many things that when you get right into it, there are not many things at all that we genuinely have to. Everything has a choice. We might not like the choices, and it might be, like Hobson's choice type thing, but there is a choice. And the more awareness we've got of that choice, the more, like I say, the more empowered we feel, the more in control we feel, the less resentful we feel, which ultimately just makes us feel better. Like I said, I hope this has been helpful. If you've got any questions, please do drop them below. I'm going to be coming in here live every week, at minimum once a week. And this is kind of the vibe I want to be bringing. Yeah. If you're not in the Facebook group, I will, this is going into YouTube as well, so I will drop the link below for the Facebook group. And if you want to watch this on YouTube, I will drop the YouTube link in below on Facebook. Have an amazing day, and yeah, let me know how you get on with just noticing that I have to versus I choose. Take care now.